And as queues return to our filling stations, we turn our attention to the impending arrival of premium motor spirits, PMS, also known as Petrol, from the Dangote Petrochemical Refinery. Now, with the refinery's petrol expected to hit the local market in 2 to 3 weeks, petroleum marketers have raised concerns that the product's price may be higher than anticipated. Now, this is primarily due to Dangote Refinery's reliance on imported crude oil, which adds significant cost. Petroleum marketers have expressed fears that the price of PMS from the Dangote Petrochemical Refinery may be higher than expected due to the refinery's need to import crude oil from the United States and other countries. Despite the 650,000 capacity refinery's efforts, it has not been able to secure feedstock from local international oil companies.
Now, this has led to increased cost of production for products like diesel and aviation fuel, making them less attractive to local marketers. The National Vice President of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, Ahmed Fashola, highlighted that the higher cost of imported crude oil could result in hike in the ex-depot price of Dangote's PMS. He urged the federal government to assist Dangote with the local supplier for crude oil to mitigate this issue. Fashola also emphasized the importance of Dangote maintaining reasonable prices to prevent market monopolization. Now, to discuss this development and their potential impact, we have a development economist and investment banking executive, Dr. Nemeka Obiageri, in the studio. Welcome to the program, sir. Good to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us.
First of all, I want to say, I'm very excited. I don't know about you, but I'm very excited that we will be having in 2 to 3 weeks the Dangote Refinery pump out fuel, PMS for local use here in Nigeria. However, hit with the fact or the information about the high cost, I began to worry. But what would you say are contributing factors to the potential hike or high increase in price of this PMS from the Dangote refinery? And is it valid?
PMS, like any other petroleum product or commodity, is something that is priced based on market competitiveness. Anybody expecting Dangote Refinery to produce PMS at cheaper cost than the imported ones is deluding him or herself. One, as of today, a barrel of crude oil is about $80. You know, this thing we talk about, assuming even the IOCs in Nigeria give Dangote crude oil, they will still give him crude oil at the market price. They won't give him crude oil at a discounted price. In the course of this program, I will show us clearly how we can actually refine products here and sell it at a price that is very, very okay for Nigerians, irrespective of what happens in the international market. But as far as this Dangote Refinery is concerned, whether he's buying crude oil from the IOCs in Nigeria, whether he's buying crude oil from those imported from abroad, the only added cost to him importing crude oil from abroad is the freight cost, the cost of shipping outside, and even here, because the refinery was not built where there is feedstock. Remember that the refinery was built in Lagos State. Mm-hmm. Still, the source of feedstock is from Niger Delta. They will still have to use barges and vessels to move those crude oil to the Lagos waters and even to the storage facility. So basically, whether he's buying from international, other international companies, buying from Nigeria, it's the same cost that is going to be incurred. Nobody will sell you his crude oil at a price that is lower than what the market is doing. It's alternative cost. Even if we decide to give him the crude oil that was supposed to sell outside Nigeria, it's same alternative cost of fund. Basically, that is what is happening. And as of today, to land a liter of the PMS offshore Lomé, I'm not even talking about Lagos waters, it's over 8,000 naira. What we are enjoying is subsidized product. In fact, 2 days ago, I think it was on Friday, actually bought at 750 from Quest filling station, Admiralty Way. And in fact, I was lamenting. Interestingly, those in the southeast of Nigeria, those from other parts, were told that they've been buying at 850, 800, which simply means the market should actually be deregulated. But if you regulate the market based on the current realities, a price of a liter of the PMS will sell for 1,200, 1,300, which is not even ideal to the current level of hardship and suffering in Nigeria. But there's a way out of this. You know, I am one of those that believe, ask yourself this question, how come Nigeria is the only oil producing country that practically imports everything that we consume here in terms of white petroleum products and minerals? Look at Brazil. Brazil has oil reserve of 15.5 billion barrels, far lower than our 37 billion barrels. But Petrol, the equivalent of NNPC here, is doing so well that on an annual basis, they generate over $121 billion into the Brazilian economy. They produce 2.3 million barrels of crude every day. Their profit last year was about $37 billion. And practically most of the things they consume there, they refine it there. But do you know why Petrobras is working? Petrobras is only owned 28.5% by the Brazilian government. They have other institutional investors, both local and international. Just like we have with the LNG that is owned 49% by the federal government of Nigeria through NNPC and is owned 51% by other global investors. What basically happens in Petrobras, there is efficiency, there is transparency, there is no opacity like we have with NNPC. If they tell you they are going to repair a refinery in one year, the board and management will be in line to ensure it is done. Because if you don't do it, shareholders will kick you out. The board will be sacked. And it's like you are employed in Zenith Bank or any place and you have a target, a KPI. If you don't meet your KPI, you'll be, because there are many people outside there looking for the same job that you are enjoying. So basically, the only way we can actually produce crude oil here, refine it and sell it to the level that it will be very, very competitively priced here, just like they do in Saudi Arabia, is this model that I've always shared. Anywhere I have opportunity to share it. And what is that model? As of today, the Kaduna refinery is practically dead. And it uses the heavy Venezuelan crude. We don't have heavy crude. We've just discovered it, but we've not yet gotten to that significant quantity. We have the sweet Brent, which is our DNA, our crude DNA. Now, the Port Harcourt refinery is 210,000 barrels refining capacity. Warri is 125,000 barrels refining capacity. And I cannot still understand why the federal government of Nigeria, for whatever reason, they are still holding on to 100% shareholding of NNPC. All over the world, even Aramco has been listed. And those refineries are not working. Obasanjo graciously in 2007, because he was president for 8 years. And he did everything to turn around that. He discovered that public sector sleaze, profligacy and criminality is the reason why it is not working. He privatized it before he had reversed it. What do we do in the alternative? In 2021, they told us they were going to spend $1.5 billion and that refinery will work June 2023. We are in 2024, July. It's not working. They've kicked the can down the road, and that is why we are suffering. So basically what we're going to do, what do we do? Put those refineries in a bucket, value them. When you value them, what do? Sell down 80% shareholding to private sector investors with technical capacity and with funding deep pockets. When you've done that, remember that crude oil here in Nigeria, the cost of producing crude oil from Nigerian soil ranges between $21 to $30 per barrel. We can decide under a special arrangement. These refineries consume about 445,000 barrels. Okay, if we decide to locate a new refinery there, under this special arrangement, we have an SPV, cost plus margin. To refine a barrel of crude oil is $10, which is $40. $30 margin, 30% margin would bring it about $52. And we say, okay, that is based on what we're going to do. If we do it this way, we can sell a liter of either the PMS or gas oil or gasoline under this unique PPP arrangement at a cost of not more than 600 naira per liter anywhere in Nigeria. Okay. But this must be the model. But for you, anybody expecting Dangote to come and they refine and sell it cheaper than is obtainable everywhere in the whole world, he's just deluding himself.
Now, speaking about solutions, you're preferring solutions. The IPMAN vice president has called on the federal government to assist Dangote with local crude oil supply. How visible is this solution?
You know, it shocks me to, that people who are in the industry, who know how the industry works, will be making this kind of suggestion. First of all, there is nobody who is extracting crude oil before you even put your rig on the ground. Sometimes they pre-sell. 5 years, they have off-takers. Sometimes the contract had been signed by either a Shell or Mobil or Total or even the private investors like FAMFA for 5-year off-take arrangement. So how are you going to ask somebody that's entered into a contract with an off-taker for his crude to now reverse it? It doesn't make sense. What would have expected? Nigeria has capacity to do at least 3 million barrels of crude. Go and check the rest. Go to Central Bank website. Look at the record of our daily crude oil production in 2009, 2010. There was even at a time in 2010 that we did 2.88 million barrels a day. In this same country, we took it, this is taking a nosedive under the Buhari regime. Now, if we have a pay quota of 1.78 million barrels a day, the question we should be asking ourselves, why are the IOCs leaving Nigeria to go to Angola to go and invest, to go and do 6 billion? It's very simple. What would have expected a businessman as savvy as Aliko Dangote, even before the first block was laid into the ground to that refinery, should have made adequate arrangements for crude oil supply for those refineries. So I wonder how a $20 billion investment was made.
When you say she would have made arrangement for crude oil supply,
crude oil, exactly.
You mean in terms of vessels bringing over a dredging process or pipelines?
Remember,
and from where?
Remember, there are many refineries across the world in countries that don't even produce 1 liter of crude. There are countries in the world today. China produces a refined product. Go to Singapore, go to many countries of the world. They don't have South Africa here. South Africa has refineries that were built by Chevron, by Total Consortium. Combined refining capacity of 540,000 barrels a day.
And they're supplied from?
They buy crude from anywhere in the whole world. It's a competitive market. The first refinery that was built in Nigeria was built by Shell. So how come? The question we should be asking ourselves, how come Mobil, ExxonMobil, they are not building refineries here? How come Shell, they are not doing refineries here? Why is it a tough job for people to? Because of the regulatory environment. Here, in other countries in Angola, you have only 1 or 2 agencies regulating. But here, you have multiple agencies. The same thing we have at our seaports and airports.
Are those the factors that have presented in the Dangote instance that have made him perhaps maybe purchase crude oil from outside the country? Now, if you take that cost, whatever it's costing him to purchase these raw materials from outside the country, with the cost of freighting it from wherever we have it here in Nigeria, how would that affect the final cost in my pocket? Would it be higher or lower?
Like I said, it's marginal.
Very marginal.
Very marginal, because the only cost outside the other cost is the freight. So it's marginal. And again, the cost of producing the crude oil in Saudi Arabia, it costs about $10, $15 to produce a barrel of crude. In Nigeria, it's about 20 because of insecurity and other factors.
So if it's marginal to me,
yes,
that means negligible.
Negligible.
However, for the government, how much are they losing? That the instance is that Dangote Refinery is buying crude oil from outside of Nigeria. How much are they losing as a country?
The current losses we are incurring now, I'll give you an example. We spend $24 billion annually importing white petroleum products and minerals. And I can tell you, it's actually inflated. Let us face facts. It's inflated, actually.
So what's the actual price?
Yes, it's inflated because I don't see how it is possible. I will explain to you. And that is something that worries me because I expect a very key sector of our economy that there should be everybody's eye should be there. That should be, the Emir of Kano, Sanusi Lamido, also have been complaining about this since 2010, about the opacity, about the corruption, about the sleaze, actually at the NNPC, and it has never abated. Now let me explain to you. Between 1999 to 2007, under Olusegun Obasanjo, Nigeria had a more buoyant economy. Nigerians had more purchasing power than we had today. In fact, as at 2007, people were coming in from Goldman Sachs. People were locating from Wall Street to come and work here. I knew some of my banking colleagues that came from Wall Street, from JP Morgan Chase, to work here. At that time, we had a middle class population of about 4 million that earned between $120,000 to $160,000 salary equivalent in naira because exchange rate was 124. As at that time, our PMS consumption was not more than 26 million liters a day. Go and check. Between 1999 to 2007. The highest was about 27 million liters. The madness started in 2009, 2010 under the Ziani and the Jonathan. And of course, they said they moved the number to 45 to 52 million liters. The National Assembly did a probe and they discovered that most of those things were Ponzi. Only about 29 million liters came in. But the thing went bonkers under Buhari. We started seeing 50 million, 60 million, 70 million,
so where were
80
the
million.
Coming
now,
from
listen, you know the funny thing, even the then customs chief, Ali, at the time became so irritated with the kind of numbers they were banding. When you ask them, they'll tell you, oh, it is being smuggled, which is not true because if you look at Cameroon, Benin Republic, Togo, Chad, Mali, even all the way to Burkina Faso, all the contiguous neighboring countries, their daily consumption put together is no more than 10 million barrels a day. And to steal and to cross that volume of smuggling, which is not true, will require trucks. If you line the trucks, it will cover 12.7 kilometers. So back to back. So, the game here is that all these things that are banned in tell us they inflated. Nigerian consumption, as at 2020, even DPRA told us it was 38 million liters. Nobody is sure. But the truth is, based on empirical facts, go and check the United States Energy Administrative Agency. They have records of every PMS that goes into every country. It's not more than 35 million liters a day.
You were talking about price uniformity earlier on, right? Yeah. And the deregulation, and hopefully when it does that, there will be price uniformity. Now, with Dangote being in the game now, and with the expected price adjustments, if his petrol was to land, what can independent marketers and consumers expect in terms of price uniformity and potential reductions?
Nigeria is currently subsidizing the PMS. I want us to understand this. The only white petroleum product that is not being subsidized is the gas oil and the aviation fuel. And even the aviation fuel, at the time government intervened, gas oil reflects a market competitively priced product in Nigeria. And I don't know why we make this now about Dangote. Before Dangote refinery, we ordered refineries.
You're saying not to make this about Dangote, but there are concerns that Dangote might monopolize the market if he receives government support.
See, we should be wary of that. We should be wary of creating a... I remember again, Abdul Samad is building a refinery in Akwa Ibom, my big cross river. Bua is doing 200,000 barrels a day. And we are expecting, if this government really appreciates the challenges we have today, one of the ways we shouldn't allow the mistake that happened in the cement industry to happen in oil and gas, because Nigeria is the only place. Go and check neighboring countries.
I want to keep us on track. Regarding the how it will affect
uniformity,
competition, and all of that.
There should be no subsidy of whatever nature to any player in the market.
So the call from the Vice President for government to support or step in case of Dangote should not be...
The only support government should render to any businessman in Nigeria is to provide enabling policies and programs that encourages competitiveness among the operators. Before Dangote, there was OPAC. We have Nigerian data refineries. We have Watersmith. They've been trading. They've been refining. Nobody has ever given them concessions. Nobody has ever given them crude oils at discounts. And we must be very, very careful what we push. The truth is, before he laid the foundation for that refinery, there should have been adequate arrangement made for crude oil supply, either locally or internationally. What does it take to do a marginal field? Nigeria has huge crude reserve of $37 billion under the ground. Billion barrels under the ground. So he has capacity. Dangote has capacity to have even developed marginal fields to supply feedstock to his refineries.
How would it affect competition? How would it affect prices? Where would it go, up or down? How the timeline? After a year, would it begin to come
shrink back?
I have given you solutions of what we will do today to bring the price of the petroleum product down to average of nothing more than 600 naira per liter. No matter what happened in the international market.
But with the Dangote influence now, where would it stop? Where would it be?
See, Dangote influence, if you remove the subsidies today, Dangote's influence will not remove, it will not change the dial. Yes, it will not. So that as long as you don't give him subsidies, as long as you don't provide subsidies for the Dangote refinery, there should be no subsidy of anything on consumption. There should be, if you want to supply crude, and remember, the crude you're giving to anybody here at a discount will affect the crude we are actually going to sell. We have not even met
the subsidy you keep talking about. The Nigerian government will tell you that we are not. What subsidy are you talking about?
Or is it quasi?
Is there a clause we are not getting right that still provides subsidy for certain specific products that we are not getting right? When you reference the subsidy,
PMS is being subsidized.
How exactly, sir? By the government.
Okay, I'll give you an example.
Please.
Now. As of today, a metric ton of the PMS goes for about $930 per metric ton. In a metric ton, you have 1,341 liters. Multiply 935 FOB with 1,525 naira current exchange rate.
I can't do that calculation now. Do tell me.
Just calculate it. $935 multiplied by 1,525. divide it by 1341. FOB offshore Lome is over 1,000 naira. That is the price of PMS FOB offshore Lome. By the time you add freight, add mother vessel, daughter vessel shipment, add other administrative costs and everything. If the subsidy wasn't there, a liter of the PMS will be selling for 1,300. How much do you buy a liter of AGO? AGO is actually cheaper than PMS in terms of liter terms if the market was fully regulated. The AGO you are buying today at 1,300, 1,400 at the finish reflects the market competitively priced.
Now, the numbers are not adding up.
The numbers are not adding up. And of course, they admitted that the federal government admitted that they spent 3.56 trillion naira on subsidy. But the truth is, if they had done what we have advised them to do over the last 1 year, we wouldn't be where we are. We have been wasting trillions of naira on turnaround maintenance program. And Nigerian refinery is not the oldest refinery. There are far older refineries in the whole world that are still refining. What is holding us down is corruption. And the only way you can eliminate corruption is to put in place check valves that deters it. And what are those check valves? You see, those refineries that have not worked since 1999. If you hand over those refineries to a Shell or a Total, or even to a Sahara Energy, in 6 months you will see refined products pouring out. The truth is, for whatever reason, the government of Nigeria have refused. Have refused. The only person that picked courage to do the right thing was Obasanjo. Of course, Yar'Adua was ill-advised, and he reversed it. Today, and that is what we should pursue. Anybody telling you, if you want to save Nigeria today and save this oil and gas industry, it's not a case of give Dangote discounted crude. Get the NNPC, let the federal government of Nigeria appoint a Goldman Sachs, Bank of America Merrill Lynch, a Stanbic IBTC, and the Chapel Ham Dehan, 4 of them as book runners. Let them divest 60% of their shareholding from NNPC and do IPO of $20 billion. When they do it, you get technically savvy, competent, funded investors into this economy. First of all, by doing this, Nigeria will unlock about $60 billion into our economy. Even while you're doing this process, against this system, you can actually go and borrow concessionary fund to enable us to stabilize the economy. The only problem we have is that the political will is not there. Every successive government sees the oil and gas industry as their sluice pipe to control things. Petrobras have done it. Emirate Oil, they have done it. British Petroleum, they've done it. Aramco has done it. Why are we not doing it? And that's the equation. So rather than Ipman and the rest of them, I expect Ipman, I expect TUC, I expect LLC, all of them to be on the street demanding that the federal government of Nigeria sell down 60% of their shareholdings for NNPC and make it as efficiently run as Nigeria liquefied natural gas.
Noted, sir. So you say, all right, deregulate, especially the NNPC, especially for the shares. If it can be owned less by the government, it will be to
30% by government,
30%,
70% to deep-pocketed, technically capable
but that's
investors.
not happening. But that's not happening. Real quick, sir, and if you can summarize this, would it be to the advantage of the Dangote refinery to actually get its fuel from Nigeria or outside of Nigeria? Dangote now as the subject. Would it be to the advantage foreign crude or local crude?
There is no special advantage, either foreign crude or local. There's no, because it's same price. Nobody will give you crude oil at a discount.
All right, sir. Sir,
I was going to ask about.
Very interesting.
I was going to ask about the queues on ours, because there are speculations of queues going on there.
Yes, exactly.
No, it's the greed on the part of marketers. Let me tell you what is happening here.
Well, press for time, so very
like
quickly.
I said, on Friday, I bought at 750. What most of them they just locked up their filling stations, waiting to see where the market price direction is going, whether it's going to be price adjustments up or whether it's going to be at the same level. So it's not as if there's no product in Nigeria. What you're just seeing here are marketers taking advantage of the sudden spike. I've heard calls, somebody calling me, I got an offer at this price, should I buy? I say, go ahead and buy. Because the truth of the matter is, if this market was fully regulated, none of you will be getting PMS at 1,300 per litre.
Wow. There we go. Well, thank you so much for sharing your insights with us today, sir. We appreciate you for coming on. And that's Dr. Nemeka Obiarari. He is a development economist and investment banking executive, and he joined us today to talk about just Dangote Petrol availability, as marketers fear the product may be costlier than expected. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, we bring you a big report. Stay with us.